This year's Computex coverage is brought to you by MSI, Thermaltake, Corsair, and Be Quiet. We're here at Antec and I have found an Antec Infinity mirror. I wonder if that means there's an infinite amount of awesome products. Let's go check it out. So there's two cases I want to introduce you here. We've got the C8 Curve and the C8 Wood. So the C8 Curve comes with a single tempered glass panel that wraps around for that bird's eye view of your whole machine. Now this was actually built by AK Mod and they actually got the full custom water cooling loop inside. Now in terms of pricing, the C8 Wood, it actually retails for $129. There's no fans included in that and the Curve doesn't actually have a firm price yet. Now the C8 Curve actually supports the backwards connect motherboards as well. So the slits are actually in the motherboard tray. Asus, Gigabyte and MSI all have their versions out now, so fully compatible with this case. However, the C8 Wood doesn't support those yet. Now in terms of radiator compatibility, you can fit a 360mm at the top, you can fit a 360 down the bottom and a 360 at the rear. That is both cases. They're actually got very similar specs on the inside. Now at the rear, it actually comes with an airflow guide to prevent the power supply heat from going in and through the radiator. This is to help keep nice optimal cooling performance for the case, and it also acts to stop cables from going in and interfering as well. Now at the side panel, we've actually got plenty of room to actually install fans at the rear as well, or if you wanted to run a push-pull configuration, that is completely possible with this case. So the C8 Wooden Edition actually comes with the walnut panel for the black case, but over to the white case, it actually comes with an aluminium panel. So this is the C7 ARGB case, comes with a full panoramic view. The glass is actually chamfered off at a 45-degree angle to actually help integrate that seamlessly, and it actually retails for $169 and comes with 4 pre-installed ARGB fans. So we've got 1 at the rear and we've got 3 at the back. Now these magnetic dust filters at the side are actually fully removable. So there's 1 at the side here, 1 at the front. Just helps to keep the dust down a little bit in the power supply tray. Now at the rear of the case, you can see we've got plenty of cutouts for extra airflow, even up the top, and that's handy because we have the glass, covering the whole front section here. So if I remove this, give you guys a little bit of a look on the inside. So we do have a flip open cable door cover that's just held into place with a little screw. It's toolless installation. And of course we have plenty of options for SSD mounting. One thing to note though, if you are using the BTF or backwards connect motherboards, you may actually have some compatibility issues if you want to install an SSD which collides with some of the backwards connections. Now on the inside of the case, the side radiator mounting beside the motherboard tray, there's actually a plate that you can remove if you need to put a radiator in, which is handy because having that in place actually helps direct the airflow, and then of course by removing it, we can now fit a radiator. Now it seems to be a big thing at Computex this year. Cases are implementing more wooden designs into their panels, and this is no different. This is the Flux Pro. Pro for a reason, because they do have the original Flux as well. So what features does the Flux Pro have? First of all, it has a temperature display down the bottom there. You can display your GPU and your CPU temperature at the same time. Now I will say, this will be retailing for $169. That is for the black and the white version. This does come with 6 PWM fans. They are not going to be RGB as well. So if you do want RGB fans, expect to pay a little more for that. Now you can actually run a 420mm radiator up the top. You could also run a 420mm radiator at the front here. But if you want them simultaneously, that's not going to work. You have to install a 420 and then a 360. Now if your GPU is not mounted vertical, you could possibly install a 360mm radiator down the bottom as well by removing the brackets there and having access to the radiator brackets. Now this is the really unique feature about this case. The power supply can actually be rotated. There's 2 different mounting positions. So you can have it in the standard position, or over here, you can actually have the power cable come in, which is included with the case. It's a 90-degree power cable, and have the power supply face so that the cables actually come out the back there. In some cases, that's actually going to make cable management so much easier. So it's up to the individual. And of course, we have fan and RGB control located at the rear, which is absolutely fantastic for users, and plenty of mounting for storage options. This is the Performance 1M ITX case from Antec, and it is quite hefty. And the reason for that is, it is not cheap. There is no plastic on here. It is full aluminium outside panels and steel on the inside to make sure that it's got some rigidity. Now, this case does come in a metal green or a full black. And you may have noticed it has support for full RTX 4000 series cards. Down the bottom, we've also got support for two 140mm radiators, and I was actually trying to figure out how could I fit water cooling inside. And my idea was if I was to actually extend the length of the feet at the bottom of the case, I could probably mount the fans on the outside and the radiator on the inside and make something happen. So let us know in the comments if you actually want to see us attempt a full custom loop inside of this build. Now, the case actually comes with the riser cable pre-installed and also a shift power supply cable, so it's got 90-degree connector on there, which makes it so much easier and actually compatible with this case. And if you have a thicker GPU as well, the motherboard tray is actually completely adjustable. So there's a few different settings there, so it can accommodate for those thicker slot GPUs. And the best part about this ITX case is there's plenty of cooling because there is a mesh metal panel all the way around, so plenty of ventilation and airflow. Now, currently I only see one SSD installation position, so if you can use NVMe drives with this case, that's probably the way to go. Now, the case is going to retail for over $200, but the firm price is not yet confirmed, so we'll have to keep an eye out when it does fully release. And last but not least, we actually have a pull tab for easy installation to the top of the case where you can access the power supply, top of the GPU to plug all the connectors in, and of course the riser cable as well, straight into the motherboard. Now, we saw the Flux Pro. This is actually just the Flux, so it's the smaller brother of the Flux Pro. It does come with 5 PWM fans, and this one actually retails for only $109 US. So still, you can fit a 360mm radiator up the top here. You can also fit a 420mm radiator at the front here as well. This one actually does support the backwards connect motherboards, which is absolutely fantastic. And it also comes with an RGB and fan hub there, plenty of storage, and comes in black and white. Pretty similar specs to the Pro, but just not quite the same amount. So Antec's launching their first ever handheld devices. This is called the Core HS, comes in black and white. Also has Windows 10 on it with a touch screen, guys. So yes, this is a full PC. You can access your Steam games. Best of all, has a keyboard built in. That is completely awesome. I really want to get my hands on one of these. This would come in handy for our long plane rides. And I'm sure, Amelia, you'd want to play Rocket League with me as well. That'd be pretty cool. So a little bit about the specs. So you can actually get two different specs. Comes in a 16GB with 512GB of storage and a 32GB of memory with 2TB of storage as well. I know if you want to play something like Call of Duty, I don't know if it'll handle it or not, but if you did, the updates themselves are like 100GB each. So I'm going to be opting for the 2TB one at least. Now, the dock is actually included. It's USB Type-C for charging, and they don't have a firm price on it yet, but they reckon it's going to be between $600 and $700 US. So these are Antec's brand new Nova Performance fans. So they actually come with a controller with 3 settings on it: low, medium, and high. So low is between 300 and 1500 RPM. We've got medium at 350 RPM to 2400 RPM. Then of course we've got high with 400 to 3200 RPM. As you make the fans spin faster, of course, that does introduce extra noise. So it's up to you to choose the right setting for you, but it's good to know that they are there if you need the extra cooling for your system. Now, these are great static pressure as well, so they'll work fantastic on radiators. Huh? Fantastic. Yeah, fantastic, guys. So these are Antec's brand new Orbit fans. Now, they're not necessarily the highest performance fans that they have to offer, but what they do offer is great performance with amazing aesthetics. So if you want to theme your build towards something and you want that lighting in there, these are a fantastic option. So they come in at 31.6 decibels at 2000 RPM. And of course, you can get them in black and white. Comment down below how many times I said fantastic. Now, I'll just make a quick mention of these because you guys have seen us use the Neo Prism fans before, but they are now releasing them in 30mm versions, so you're actually going to get extra airflow without compromising too much space. Normal fans are around 25mm, so the extra 5mm is going to give that extra performance. Now, if your GPU is not mounted vertical, you can actually remove the fan brackets down the bottom there and possibly install a... It's all right. No, you're right.